Hey guys, so today we have an analysis of a generic Democrat, a 2020 prediction between what we would consider a generic Democrat in comparison to how he or she would do against President Donald Trump. So what I mean by a generic Democrat, this is not a candidate that's obviously a very strong candidate, not someone like a Joe Biden, not someone like a Bernie Sanders, and and it's not a very weak candidate, not a not I don't know, a Hillary Clinton, not someone like that. I mean about in the middle of the road. Um, you could say someone like a Julian Castro, people that are kind of like generic for a Democrat. So we're going to go through all of the states. We're going to first start off with the safe and the toss-up. I will not be doing any pure toss-ups on this map, just for your reference. So Washington, Oregon, California, Hawaii, all probably going to go to the Democrats, no question. Alaska, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska will come back to that second district. Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Texas, for a generic Democrat, I think I'd still leave it like that. Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, West Virginia. Now, Illinois, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, New York, Vermont, that first district in the state of Maine, and the state of New Mexico. So I think this is kind of where we're starting off. But there are definitely some leaning Democratic and leaning Republican states. So we're going to go into the leaning and also the likely states. Right, so let's start off in the state of Texas. For a Democrat to win Texas, he or she needs to be very popular and a very strong candidate. Someone, and you all know who I'm referring to, that is Beto O'Rourke. If he were to run, I could see this one getting competitive. Still going to Trump at the end of the day, but still quite competitive. But for then a generic Democrat, I move it into the likely Republican column. In the state of Iowa, this is another state, I feel that for a Democrat to win here, he or she needs to be quite a strong candidate. I'm going to move it into the leaning Republican column, and same thing with the state of Ohio, just because these two states trending Republican in recent weeks, recent years. They both elected Republican governors. Ohio, all their competitive congressional districts went to the Republicans. Sherrod Brown won, but not by as much as they were expecting. So, again, Iowa trending more Republican. Iowa, not so much. Democrat was narrowly expected to win the gubernatorial race, but then again, Democrats picked up 2 out of the 4 congressional districts in the state of Iowa. So that's also something to note, but then again, you could both see on presidential levels, there's a lot of love for President Trump in these areas. I could see them going for President Donald Trump against the generic Democrat. Now going down to the state of Georgia. Georgia and North Carolina, both of these I see leaning towards the president. Now, my reasoning, both of these states, Democrats consistently think that this is our year, and consistently they come up short. Now, there are some exceptions. The 2016 gubernatorial race, Roy Cooper was able to win, a Democrat there. But most of the competitive districts went to the Republicans this time around, and it generally is a slight leaning Republican state. Now down to the state of Georgia, a very similar argument. You could see the state of Georgia going for the Democrats, but only if a very strong candidate emerges, like Stacey Abrams, and even she came up just a little bit short of taking down Brian Kemp. You could say that was because of the voter suppression, but I don't really want to get into that given it's quite a sensitive topic. Now, going over to the state of Virginia, there's a lot of question as to whether this really is a swing state now. It's consistently been voting Democratic by wider and wider margins. Democrats picked up 3 congressional districts here. It is very difficult to make a case for the president to win in the state of Virginia. Now, let's go out to the west. We have Nevada, Arizona, and Colorado. This is an area that used to be Republican territory, but because of how many immigrants are coming in, it's making these states quite competitive. So, state of Nevada, I'm putting that one in the leaning Democratic column. For a generic Democrat to win in the state of Nevada, it's not a very hard call to make, given how Trump does not really appeal to immigrant voters. And also Hillary Clinton, quite a weak Democratic candidate, was still able to win in the state of Colorado. Now let's go down to the state of Nevada. Oh, by the way, for the state of Colorado, for the state of Nevada, Democrats won all the competitive House seats. They picked up a Senate seat and a governorship, but all that in the state of Nevada. Becoming very hard to make a clear case for President Trump to pick this one up. Now, Colorado, I'm also putting in the Democratic column, in the likely Democratic column. Excuse me. I see this one definitely going towards the Democrats. They elected a new Democratic governor in Jared Polis, the first openly gay governor. He won by a very healthy margin, by about 10 points, against the Republican there, Walker Stapleton. Definitely see this one leaning towards the Democrats in a likely fashion. Now, let's go down to the state of Arizona. I see this one going narrowly towards the president. Now, reasoning why: I know they elected a Democratic senator in Kristen Sinema, but I feel that it's just a bit of a fast stretch to call it for the Democrats, especially if it's just a generic Democrat. If it's a Joe Biden or a Bernie Sanders, maybe, but not against just a normal Democratic candidate. I know they just elected a Democratic senator, but that wasn't a Democratic wave year. That's also something to note. Now, let's go into the the split electoral votes, I guess. So the state of Maine, I see this one leaning towards the president. He won it by 10 points. I know they just elected a new Democratic congressman in, I forgot his name, Jared Golden. But there's a lot of love for the president in the state of in Maine's 2nd Congressional District. Same thing in Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. The Democrats came up just short of taking down Representative Don Bacon. But I see this one narrowly leaning towards the president, especially against just a generic Democrat. If it was someone like Bernie Sanders, I see this one getting extraordinarily close. I see this one probably even going to Bernie Sanders. But just against a generic Democrat, I can't say the same thing. Now, let's go now to the state of Florida. It was extraordinarily close in the 2018 midterms. Democrats, well, they picked up Florida 26, I believe, but that's pretty much where it ends. Good news for the Democrats. They also picked up Florida 27, if I'm not mistaken, with Donna Shalala, and then for the 26th, it was Debbie McCassell Powell. I don't really know how to pronounce her name, but they picked up 2 congressional districts, but they lost a Senate seat that they had before, and they also lost a governorship that was kind of expected to go to them. So there's a lot of question as to whether it is a swing state, but these margins were extraordinarily tight in the state of Florida. They were so close, 0.4 and 0.2 for the governorship and the Senate race, respectively. And this was in a Democratic wave year. In Democratic wave year, Democrats are expected to win Florida. Obama in 2008, even Obama in 2012. It was kind of a shock to me seeing both the Senate race and the governorship go to the Republicans. So for that kind of reason, one more thing, if this was against a kind of progressive candidate, I narrowly see Trump winning Florida. Now, Andrew Gillum was a progressive, and Ron DeSantis was a Trump-like candidate, and the Trump-like candidate was able to prevail. So that's why I see that ever so narrowly going towards Mr. President. Now, in the state of Maine, that 2nd congressional district, I see that one going to the Democrats. Now, it went to them in 2016 against a weak Democratic opponent in Hillary Clinton. They elected a big governor that was a Democrat. They re-elected Angus King, and they kind of re-elected all their, not re-elected, but they elected Democrats, the state of Maine. Now, in Maine, they have one Democrat in the Senate, one Republican in the Senate, and then, but both of their congressional districts are by the Democrats. Their state legislator, and both state legislators, the state House and the state Senate, if I'm not mistaken, both went to the Democrats. They have a Democratic governor. It's becoming very hard to make a clear indication as to how President Trump could win Maine at large. So now, 218 electoral votes for the generic Democrat, 260 for President Trump. It all comes down to the Midwest, and this is an area where President Trump is struggling to stay afloat. He just needs one of these states, and he's the next president. Okay, I forgot to fill in New Hampshire, and I see that one narrowly going towards the Democrats, pretty much for the same reason the state of Maine went to the Democrats. So we have 4 states left. We're going to go from east to west. So the state of Pennsylvania, I see this one going towards the Democrats narrowly. They re-elected a governor by something like 15 points. They re-elected a senator by a similar margin. They picked up 5 House seats. There's something going on in Pennsylvania that definitely favors the Democrats. Now, I know there's redistricting, but still, that's pretty good news for the Democrats. Now, they're closing in. In the state of Michigan, I also see this one going towards the Democrats because they, the president's approval rating is faltering. Democrats picked up a governorship. They won a Senate seat. They picked up a few House seats. I could go on and on. They did very well in the state of Michigan. And finally we have, not really finally, but next we have the state of Wisconsin. I also see this one narrowly going towards the Democrats. Now, for the same reason, these white working class people, they are evaporating from Donald Trump, and they are evaporating fast. And that's something that the president needs to keep in mind. Final state, since you can see that Wisconsin went to the Democrats, you can expect Minnesota to go to the Democrats, kind of expected. But yeah, so same reason for those. They picked up 2 House seats, but they also lost 2 House seats. That's something to note. But still, these were in the retiring Democrats. The Republicans were not retiring in districts 2 and 3. Democrats were retiring in 1 and 8. They won a governorship. They won both Senate seats by wide margins. Amy Klobuchar, incumbent senator, won by 25 points. I cannot see this one going for the president. So that's it for today's video. Final count, 278 electoral votes for the generic Democrat and 260 for the President of the United States. Now, Mr. President only needs one more state out of these 4 states, or that's option 1. Option 2 is to win in Nevada and also to win in the state of New Hampshire. But I see the most likely path. Sorry about that. I see the most likely path. Sorry for that music. I'm going to wrap it up now. So thank you guys for watching this video. This is the most likely path for the Democrats. I see the most likely path for the Democrats, and then most likely path for the president. Just flip one of these states and then you're there. So that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.